Yo, 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 yo. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. Snapzilla Gorilla is in the building to hit y'all with this quick live stream, give my take on this hot ass mess. And the sisterhood is not going to like it. Not just the sisterhood, but society in general. They're not going to like this one. Nope. They're not going to like it. It is Saturday. Xander, what's good, Pippin? What's good, nephew? It is Saturday, March or April 26th, 2025. And today I'm going to be discussing Shannon Sharpe. What up, Black? Silly man. Yeah, we're going to be discussing Shannon Sharpe, Tracy Ellis Ross, Jada Pinkett, R. Smelly, Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah, we're gonna discuss this shit. Yeah, we're gonna get into all that. Because one thing I am getting tired of is the hypocrisy and the double standards. Now, certain double standards are logical, right? Well, how could they be logical? Well, because of the differences. Oh, what the hell? Because of the differences between the male and the female species, right? So there are going to be some double standards that have to be in place. But there are certain logical double standards that are in place that make all the sense, right? Because if they were not in place, well, we would not have balance, right? Because balance is very important. I don't know how you guys feel about balance, but I am a proponent of balance. And without balance, I mean, there is no success. There is no moving forward. Without balance, you have chaos, right? And you just have chaos. But anyway, Queen Mother Shakila, how you doing? How you doing today? Now, we all know, well, we should know what's going on with Shannon Sharpe, right? He is in a bit of a scandal. A young woman who is age 20, I think as of right now, is trying to sue Shannon Sharpe for $50 million. Now, it is because she said that he raped her, all right? Sugar Free Mars, how you doing this afternoon? Y'all go check out Sugar Free Mars' channel, man. She be on point. And go check her out on Champ's Side on Sundays. They have great episodes where they talk about different topics. Anyway, so Shannon Sharpe got himself in a bit of a scandal, and he is being sued for $50 million by a young woman who claims he raped her. Now, he has plenty of evidence to show that she has indeed been a fully consenting adult during their dalliance, or however you want to say it, during their escapades, right? Plenty of text messages, plenty of video, whatever he has. And then also there's apparently some video that her lawyer, Bunchy Wunchy, whatever his name is, Tony Bunchy, Tunchy Wunchy, I don't know what the hell this guy's name is. Apparently there's a clip of a sex tape, and then there's some audio and all this shit going around. And it just goes to show that you have to be careful with who you deal with. You have to be careful in regards to who you have in your circle, who you deal with, who you have any type of relationship with, because if you're a man of status or a woman of status, they will use it to exploit you, right? And that's, in my opinion, that's what's going on right now. Go past this light. Now, at the next one. I will give my opinion. I will give my personal opinion about this whole situation in regards to Shannon Sharpe and this now 20-year-old girl or 20-year-old woman that he was apparently fucking around with when she was 19. And he was, what was he, almost 60 years old, and he's in his 50s. Now, having daughters that are 15 and 13 years old, and myself never having been attracted to a 19, I don't think I've ever even dated a 19-year-old during my adulthood. Like when I turned 18, at age 13 or age 18, the first woman I dealt with when I became an adult was a 24-year-old woman. I think it's nasty, y'all, in my opinion, for a 50-something-year-old man to have any type of romantic sexual relationship with a 19-year-old. That's my opinion. Now there are laws. The law allows it across the entire United States, but I don't agree with man-made laws in general. So I believe that it's just nasty. It's nasty, right? 19 years old. What kind of relationship can you have with a 19-year-old in your 50s? Because in order to have a relationship, you have to relate to that person. There has to be some way that you guys relate to each other. Well, a 50-something-year-old man cannot relate to a 19-year-old, and a 19-year-old girl cannot relate to a 50-something-year-old man. That's just that's where I stand with it. And if I had a 19-year-old daughter, and with a 50-something-year-old man trying to date her, it would not happen. I don't care how grown she thinks she is, it ain't going down. And I agree, sugar-free Mars is purely sexual. And these young ladies are essentially prostitutes, bought it. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, because she is a OnlyFans. She was an OnlyFans model, or whatever you want to call it, when she was 19 years old. So, and she had already had things going on with other people. Yeah, she's definitely a prostitute. I agree 100%. But that speaks to how she was raised and how she was groomed growing up. Fools will be in some S's. Yeah. Dead Mike says, for some reason, using my government name. Jay with Open Eyes 4 is in the building. How you doing, man? Hey, y'all go check out Jay with Open Eyes 4 as well. Y'all check him out. He's a sharp young brother for his age. That's why I disagree with the age of law, because people are okay with that because exactly. Now, this young lady, I don't even know her name. She's clearly has been groomed to be a prostitute. So at 19 years old, she's putting herself out there. And again, like I said, for all intents and purposes, she's an adult, right? She is legally an adult. But speaking for my daughters, as a father, they would not be even thinking about looking at or allowing somebody that age to have any type of anything with them. You have no reason to, but that's just my personal stance and my personal opinion. But here's the thing though. Shannon Sharpe is not the first. He is not the last. He is not the only, right? And I find it very interesting how we choose to, the selective outrage is laughable, particularly from the sisterhood. Because unfortunately, I'm on Facebook and I see it, right? Now, this is around the same, all this is coming out around the same time Tracy Ellis Ross said that men her age are steeped in toxic masculinity. And that's why she goes for younger men. And she was being praised and big upped and hooted and hollered for by the sisterhood, and couldn't nobody tell them nothing about no Tracy Ellis Ross. And, you know, here's the thing. Tracy Ellis Ross is not specific about the age of the men she dates. And I presume she's very smart about how she deals with men in general, whether it's sexual, whether it's a relationship. You don't really see that her doing any of that out in the open, right? People, single older men that are of elite status, that has the same status, similar status to, what's his name? Shannon Sharpe, would do good to take a page from Tracy Ellis Ross's book. Tracy Ellis Ross's book. Because she does not put her shit out there like that. She was very vague and ambiguous about how young the men she date are. And that's very wise, because you can't really point to her and say, you know, oh, who you're dating is too young, right? She's 50-something years old, just like Shannon Sharpe. She could be dating a 40-year-old or 35-year-old or 34-year-old or a 30-year-old. I don't see an issue with that, because by age 30, your brain has fully developed, hopefully, and you have some experience in life, and you can, at that point, likely relate to someone in the age of 50s to a degree. Now, there aren't very many men out there that can relate to Tracy Ellis Ross in terms of status, because she has an elite status. So a 50-something-year-old man, a regular guy, a non-elite, you know, who's not a celebrity, who's not anything like that, regular dude at 53 is not going to relate to Tracy Ellis Ross, because she lives an elite lifestyle and she has access to many more things, and therefore her experiences are different. This is the same with Shannon Sharpe, right? Outside of age, now you're talking about status. You're talking about the type of experience, right? You can have similar experiences, but how you deal with those experiences, how you come out the other side, is going to be completely different from someone who is a proletariat, right? A proletariat is just like a regular motherfucker, right? And so those are things to consider. But again, it's the selective outrage that is at issue here, because those same women that attack or that praise Tracy Ellis Ross and say, you go girl, and all this, that, and the third, they are attacking Shannon Sharpe for dealing with a younger girl. And even worse than that, they went in on Shaquille O'Neal for saying that Ice Spice, a grown woman, is attractive. He ain't even touched her with a 10-foot pole. He just said, oh, that's a pretty girl right there, or something like that. Oh, that's a beautiful lady. That's a pretty girl. They went in on Shaq, called him a creep, a pedophile, all types of shit. But all he did was note how attractive Ice Spice was. And the outrage was palpable. And that's the problem, right? That's the retardation that we exist in today. I'll call it, right? It's contradictory, right? Those contradictions lend to people being contratards. That is a coined phrase to get succinct and quick to the point. That is what exists today, mostly in society, are contratards, because they cannot be consistent in their outrage. They cannot be consistent in their praise. They can't. It's impossible. And it's because no one is, there is nothing being, I don't know what it is, man. No one is teaching integrity. No one is teaching consistency. Everybody's just doing what they want. They're going by what they feel. It's all about feelings. You feel like Shaq is a creep because he said Ice Spice is attractive. But you think that Tracy Ellis Ross is the girl for dating younger men. You don't know how young they are. You just automatically, you wouldn't even need to know the age. Even if you knew the age, I feel like these people would still defend Tracy Ellis Ross, because Tracy Ellis Ross is a woman. Someone said that too. Someone said that because, oh well, Tracy Ellis Ross is a woman, and she gets some silly shit about being penetrated or something like that. Oh well, the men have to penetrate her, so therefore it's different. No, it's not different, because a lot of it is psychological, a lot of it is emotional, right? Because a 19-year-old boy and a 19-year-old girl are not very different in terms of, like, when there's a lack of experience, when there's a lack of development, right? Because the brain does not fully develop until you're 25 years old. But people wanted to be different from men because we have penises. Oh yeah, you got a dick, so it's okay if you were 15 getting a 34-year-old teacher pregnant. That's not as horrible as the other way around, or if the sexes were reversed. No, it's equally as horrible. And that's the point. It's equally as horrible. Now, if I were 13, 14, 15 years old, and the homie who was the same age was getting molested and groomed by a 34-year-old teacher, and she was bad as hell, and she was fine as fuck, I'd be like, yeah, man, you the man. I would big him up. I would say, man, shit, you a lucky motherfucker. I would. At 13, 14, 15 years old, I would do that, yes. But as a grown-ass man, it's disgusting. It doesn't matter who is doing the penetrating and who's getting penetrated. That is not the point. The point is, you are taking advantage, right? You are taking advantage. Now, for Shannon Sharpe's case, I believe is different, because this is a woman who has had experience, right? Sexual experience, who has put herself out there on the sexual marketplace, literally, right? Not the Kevin Samuel sexual marketplace, the literal sexual marketplace on OF, right? Apparently you can't say it out loud or whatever bullshit. Yeah, she had experience. She had dealt with other men similar to Shannon Sharpe's status. So she had, for all intents and purposes, had some experiences that make her different, that make it a different case than like a young lady who's 19 years old and graduated from high school and is now going to college to become a nurse or a doctor or whatever she's doing, who's not a prostitute, who's not putting herself out there on the sexual marketplace. She's just a regular girl going to college, and maybe the professor's 50 or something years old. Yeah, that's different, right? That's different. So there's always nuance. There's always nuance, right? But no one is considering these facts when they shit on Shannon Sharpe. They're not considering how, she was a bust down already. She was a bust down Tatiana already. Okay? Yeah, no, she's not fully developed yet. But he wasn't trying to have a relationship with her. He wasn't grooming her. She was already thoroughly groomed and broken in. She was thoroughly groomed and broken in. Someone else groomed that young lady. And I feel bad for her. That at 19 years old, for her to make her way through life is to have sex with elite guys for money and then try to exploit them, try to extort them later on in life. Use them, use them, gather evidence, record shit. But this is an extreme case where Shannon Sharpe was just an idiot. He's an idiot, right? He is an idiot, point blank and period. But he's not the villain. No, he's an idiot, but he's not the villain. He's a dumbass, but he's not the villain. He is a victim of his own idiocy. He is a victim of society, right? Trying to live up to this idea that he's not a gay person, Oh, I'm not gay. I'm gonna fuck all these bitches. Yeah, even a 19-year-old, right? Who put herself out there, right? You know, that's just what it is. He's a dumbass, right? And no one pulled his coat and said, man, you need to knock this shit off. And if they did, he didn't listen, right? Shannon Sharpe decided that he had to be like the rest of the boys. He felt the pressure. This is what I believe. This is why I believe he did that bullshit Instagram live, farce. All these different things that he has done come out on Nightcap talking about, yeah, look at me, I'm fucking this and fucking that, right? Something similar to that, something like that. But this is what he's done. And he's just an idiot. But what's interesting is I don't hear this outrage when it comes to Leonardo DiCaprio, who routinely dates 18, 19, and 20-year-olds, right? Marcus Houston, who had him a young little hot young thing who was 18, 19 years old. Where's the outrage for that? I mean, people talk shit, but like, I don't remember. Oh well, look, Marcus Houston still looks so young. I've heard women say this, and men. Oh well, Marcus Houston still looks like a young man. So, what? Oh, okay. How many black women have thrown panties at R. Kelly?
In 2 miles, take exit 24 onto
Why?
US 21 toward
I'm talking about decades after they knew that he was a child predator. When he had been proven to be a child predator with all kinds of evidence, still throwing panties at him. What about Jada Pinkett and August Alsina? Yeah, August Alsina was 22 years old. Jada Pinkett was 43. But look at the circumstances. August Alsina was not an OF model who was banging all kind of people. He was Jaden Smith's friend, and she took advantage of that young man because she is a sick, twisted human being. But he was 22, so it's fine, right? It's fine. No outrage there because we all know that August Alsina had gotten twisted by Jada Pinkett Smith. But August Alsina still had 3 years of brain development left to go, right? 2 years older than this chick that Shannon Sharpe is at odds with. 2 years, that's it, or 3 years. 3 years difference. But who knows how long Jada Pinkett really had been grooming August Alsina, but no one cares about that because Jada Pinkett is a chick. Oh, well, she's getting penetrated, so, it's okay. But Jada Pinkett's the hero, right? Jada Pinkett is the hero. She's doing her thing. She put out a quote talking about, after all the embarrassment that I've given you, all the cheating, all this, all that, oh, you still a real man. So a real man is one who takes shit from his wife, like getting cheated on, getting embarrassed, shitting on him, shitting on a relationship, running around telling people that you don't love him like that. Oh, I didn't want to marry this nigga. Oh, I never wanted to marry him. Oh, yeah. That same Jada Pinkett Smith. Will Smith sat by and took all that shit from this woman. And that is the ideal man. That's the ideal man. Will Smith. The one who was cuckolded, who was cucked by Jada Pinkett Smith to a level that you might as well be castrated. She may as well have castrated this nigga publicly. But he's a real man. The man who just so out of his mind, driven crazy by this woman in his own actions. He is responsible for his own stupidity. Also, Will Smith is an idiot. Will Smith is a soft ass clown, right? Who allowed this woman to run him through the dirt, right? And then she steps on his neck and tells him, keep taking more shit. And then now you want to thank this nigga for being a sucker ass cuck. Okay. So that is a real man, y'all. The real man is Will Smith. Yeah, sure. But no one cared, right? They laughed at Will Smith.
Turn right.
Right? They didn't think about the psychological damage that occurred when Jada Pinkett Smith took advantage of this young boy, or not young, not he's a man. This young man, August Alsina,
At the light, turn right.
took advantage of him. You know, this is crazy. It's crazy. But Shannon Sharpe, oh yeah, he deserves all the hate. No, Shannon Sharpe is an idiot. Xander said I would replace the word idiocy with the word coonery. Well, there's that too. Those aren't mutually exclusive. You know, what they call that thing, the word that you use to describe shit. Damn, I can't even remember a fucking word. What?
In 3/4 of a mile.
What is that word? Adjective. Those adjectives are mutually exclusive. James Sutherland said Jada the man. That's funny. I mean, think about it. The selective outrage is why we're stuck as a society. Because we can't get on one accord. We can't get on code. Right? We pick and choose. Me, I would say, Shannon Sharpe, you're an idiot. What made you put yourself in that position? Are you that at 50-something years old? You're supposed to have a level of discipline, a level of discernment, right? A level of couth, a level of intelligence that would prevent you from getting into shit like this. I'm 45 years old. And guess what? I have the ability to exercise my options as a married man, right? I have the right. I mean, I have the ability, right? My wife has no issue if I decided to exercise my options as a man, right? And whatever that may look like. You know, date other women, whatever you want to say.
Then take the first left onto
But guess what? I haven't done it yet. You know why? Because I have discipline, I have discernment, I have a level of integrity.
At the stop sign,
I have a way I have chosen myself not to exercise that option. Right? Because I have yet to meet a unicorn. I have yet to encounter anybody that I would feel, you know, just for me personally, like, you know, would I want to spend time and energy and money on a whole nother adult ass person just because, you know, I might be horny. I might want some new pussy. What he say in The Best Man? Ain't no pussy like new pussy. So what? But see that really I never really got that, because you know what the term unicorn means? Men of that financial standing don't have limits. Their basis to show the degrees of their freedom in extreme ways. It is a power trip. I agree. It is a power trip. So let's imagine, right? Let's imagine That is true. Well, who really had the power? He thought he was exercising some level of power, but she really had the power because she was setting his ass up from the beginning. She was ready and prepared. You know what I'm saying? Xander, what does unicorn mean? Will Cat Williams distance himself from Sharpe? I don't know. No clue. But I will say this. Yeah, these men of elite status and these men that have this level of money and all that shit, all the financial security in the world, you would think they'd have the power, but yet they get themselves in stupid ass, silly ass situations that put that all that income, all that financial security in jeopardy, right? Apparently he had just signed was prepared to sign $120 million deal or some shit. And then this happens. Power is in the mind, right? Because financial power is an illusion. If you don't have willpower, if you don't have integrity, if you don't have any of those things, that money, yeah, you can lose that money in a hot second. Xander says in the kink community, a unicorn is a woman that oftentimes a couple wants to invite to the bedroom. Oh, well, I guess she would be that type of unicorn, but no, my wife is not interested in any of that type of shit. But nonetheless, what I mean by unicorn is like a state of mind, right? The type of woman that would be, how she behaves, her level of intelligence, what she wants from a man, how she carries herself, how she speaks, right? And then she has to accept the fact that I'm married with 6 children, right? And she has to be okay with that. So that in and of itself makes her some level of unicorn. That doesn't seem to exist in the world. Indulgence is the name of their game. Exactly. See, the nasty motherfuckers with power, those are the ones you'll never find out how nasty they are, right? Because they know how to keep shit hidden. Because when you go to their parties, when you go to their bedrooms, when you go to their houses, ain't no phones, ain't no recording devices, ain't none of that. All that shit, you gotta leave that shit at the door, right? And so when you deal with these really powerful men that have that bread, you will never have any evidence against them. Because when you deal with them, you're gonna be butt ass naked. You know what I'm saying? But guys like Shannon Sharpe put themselves out there, they do this, they do that, just recklessly. That's not power. They think it's power, but it's not real power. And then there's the power where, you have all the security in the world, you have everything you need, you have everything you want. Anything a woman would dream of. Any woman anywhere on Instagram, anywhere on Twitter or whatever, they would give you the draws in a hot second. Whether they have good intentions or not, whether they want to set you up or not. Right? You might not have the status, you might not have the level of wealth of the powerful men that you will never be able to gather evidence against. But at the same time, you're not going to put yourself in that position without thoroughly vetting the women you deal with. Xander says what you are describing still works in the same way. Describe a unicorn is, but because you don't necessarily have the only involved in a 3-way. The man can play his. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why. Yeah, that is yes. But see, with me, it wouldn't be about playing, right? It'd be about, it would essentially be like a whole nother relationship. I ain't got time to play around. I'm too old for that shit, right? I ain't got time to play. I quit school because of recess. God damn it, I ain't playing. No, if you're a woman, you're gonna deal with me, and I'm, and You understand I have a wife and 6 kids. You gonna be in for the long haul. You understand what I'm talking about? You're gonna go through a thorough vetting process, and you're gonna become part of the family, basically. You know, that's how it would have to work. I'm not, no, you know, we ain't playing around. I ain't got time for that shit. It takes way too much energy. If I just want to go screw this and screw that and screw this and screw that, I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time. I got too many other things I got to do with my life, and I have children that I want to raise, that I have to raise in a certain way. No, they get priority. Yeah, most definitely. But any other woman that comes into my life, they're going to fit within that. They're going to not shape themselves or change themselves to fit in. No, they're already going to be a good fit. They're going to come in and they'll be like, okay, I got this. And it doesn't even have to really be sexual necessarily, right? It doesn't have to be sexual. It could just be, it could be a spiritual thing. It could be a mind thing. It could be just a whole different connection that most people don't even understand. There are connections that people can have that go beyond the physical, that go beyond the emotional even. There's a whole different connection. It's like magnetic. It's like you don't have a choice. It's like atoms, right? Attracted to each other. It's like the electron and the proton coming together. It's just natural shit. It's not, oh, let me stick my dick in you. Oh, I love you so much. No, it's not even about love, y'all. Because in my mind, love is a chemical reaction, right? You know, you get the endorphins released, you get all the dopamine released and all that shit that you get from people that you enjoy being around. When you have sex with a person and you already have that type of spark, you have sex with them, it releases more serotonin, it releases all these different things, and then you associate that with love, right? And so that's what you do. You think, oh, it's love. No, when you have an understanding of how every action has an equal opposite reaction, you know, when the understanding of the law of thermodynamics, energy transforms. It's not created or destroyed. It's transformed, right? It moves, it changes shape, but it doesn't get destroyed or created. And when you understand that, love is just a thing, right? That they call this. Instead of going into a long explanation about biochemistry, they tell you, oh, it's love.